Somehow, it's already 3 months into 2024, and we've entered our 3rd year on YouTube with more than 11,000 subscribers, which is just so hard to believe. Thank you very much for that. The year has been a busy one so far, with covering the construction of the new Fast and Furious coaster at Universal Studios Hollywood, a mystery project at Six Flags Magic Mountain with the removal of the Golden Bear Theater, and Knott's Berry Farm resuming work on Montezuma's Revenge. In addition to that, we have so many awesome plans for this year and can't wait to share more with you. But first, we wanted to start things off by reflecting back on what was a very awesome 2023. From our coverage of the new Fiesta Village at Knott's Berry Farm, to the ongoing happenings at Six Flags Magic Mountain, we also hopped on a plane to cover the openings of Pipeline the Surf Coaster at Seaworld Orlando and Wildcat's Revenge at Hersheypark, as well as visiting all 4 Disney World Resort parks in one day. Wow, that was exhausting. There were also stops at Canobie's Nickelodeon Universe at the American Dream Mall, this awesome backyard coaster, Shadowstalker, and much more. Okay, here's everything we did in 2023. The year started off with multiple visits to our home parks of Six Flags Magic Mountain and Knott's Berry Farm. It sure is nice being in a region with parks open year-round. Sorry every other state except for Florida. In January, over at Six Flags Magic Mountain, there were lines all over the ground up on Samurai Summit, which had us excited for what might be a new ride. But it all ended up being for an infrastructure project. And at Knott's Berry Farm, Fiesta Village was in the middle of a complete transformation. Accelerator was collecting dust from being closed since March of 2022, and Montezuma's Revenge was still missing its iconic loop. Heading into March, walls started coming down in Fiesta Village, and it was looking absolutely beautiful. But still no progress over at Montezuma's Revenge, and Accelerator might as well be part of Ghost Town at this point. Things got exciting in early May when we were invited by Seaworld Orlando to come ride their newest ride, Pipeline the Surf Coaster. And what a fun last-minute trip that ended up being. I hadn't been to Orlando in 20 years, so we flew out of Red-Eye the day in advance so we could hit up the Walt Disney World Resort first to knock out all the coaster credits I needed. We started things off at Magic Kingdom. I couldn't remember which side of Space Mountain I rode back in 2003, so we did both for good measure. Tron was spectacular, from the exterior visuals and the kinetic energy of the bikes flying overhead, to the beautiful themed queue, to a most wonderful ride experience. And because a credit is a credit, a lap on Barnstormer had to happen. We also got on Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, which was done very well thematically, and it's a fun coaster. It's just a bit short. Maybe that's the point. Haunted Mansion, while not a coaster, was a must because I didn't get a chance to do it during my previous visit when I packed 3 parks into one day. And you know, it's Haunted Mansion, gotta do Haunted Mansion. Then it was over to Animal Kingdom, which I didn't visit last time at all. And what a spectacular park. The reveal of the Tree of Life had my jaw on the floor. We first headed towards Expedition Everest, but made a stop at this snooze fest called Dinosaur. Just make it into Indiana Jones, please. Expedition Everest was another jaw-dropping reveal, hands down the most beautiful Disney mountain I've ever seen. The ride experience, however, left a lot to be desired, especially the first half. I think part of my issue with the ride are the bulky trains that make it feel like you're rolling around in a giant brick. We continued the beautiful journey around Animal Kingdom, with a brief stop at the absolutely stunning Pandora. But with 2 more parks to cover, we didn't have time to ride anything. It was then off to Epcot. The only thing I did there last time was watch Illuminations. We first rode Spaceship Earth. What a unique and fun dark ride experience. Next up was Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. Wow, easily the best Disney coaster we've been on. Just so much fun, and the level of detail is astonishing. Then it was over to Mission Space, which was still under construction in 2003. What a super intense experience, but I absolutely loved it. We finished off Epcot with a ride on Test Track. Had I known about the single rider line last time, I would have ridden. Anyway, it was a lot of fun, and then it was off to our final park, Disney's Hollywood Studios, to pick up one last coaster credit, Slinky Dog Dash, which has some really cute theming and a unique family coaster experience. Thankfully, there was also time for a ride on Tower of Terror. So freaking good, I wish we had it here on the West Coast. It was also my first time seeing Star Wars Galaxy's Edge since I haven't been back to Disneyland since 2016. With the park about to close, the line for Rise of the Resistance was almost zero. What an awesome dark ride. It might be the best one I've ever been on. Day 2 was all about why we visited Orlando in the first place. Pipeline the surf coaster at Seaworld Orlando. We started the day riding other coasters in the park. When I last visited in 2003, the park was home to only 2 coasters, Kraken and Journey to Atlantis, and Journey was closed. So I knocked out that credit first this time. Such a fun and well-themed ride. I really wish San Diego had this version. Kraken was running a bit rougher than last time, but it's still my favorite floorless coaster. Mako was unfortunately closed for a paint job. And Manta? Wow, that lived up to the hype. I didn't think it would top Tatsu at Six Flags Magic Mountain, but it absolutely did. But we were here for Pipeline the Surf Coaster, now let's talk about that. We really weren't sure what to expect. The animation had moments with the riders' feet off the ground, which looked really uncomfortable. But Pipeline the Surf Coaster ended up being an incredible experience. The launch caught us off guard, the airtime was some of the best we've ever experienced, and it wasn't uncomfortable in the slightest. More parks need this type of coaster. After riding Pipeline, we had to rush back to the airport, and while we missed some coasters, we'll likely return this year for Penguin Trek. On May 26th, the new Fiesta Village at Knott's Berry Farm opened, and what a stunning job they did with the makeover. They took a land that already looked pretty good and made it into a land that you would see at a Disney park. The attention to detail throughout is spectacular. Then, just a few days later, it was off to Hersheypark for Wildcat's Revenge Media Day. We flew into the armpit of America, Newark, New Jersey, and then quickly left, making our way to Adventureland in New York. What a charming little park. The main reason for the visit was to get a credit on Fireball, one of only 5 rollerball coasters in the world, and the only in the US. It was, well, a credit. If you're a fan of trim brakes, this ride is for you. We also knocked out the park's other 2 coasters, Rattlesnake Coaster and Turbulence, along with a couple unique water rides, Rescue Boats and Little Dipper Water Ride. We made a quick stop to Luna Park, Coney Island to get on Cyclone, which I hadn't been on since 2008, and it was running great. Really can't say anything bad about this classic from 1927. Thunderbolt was a new credit, and was running a bit rough, but had some nice airtime moments and thrilling inversions. And of course, dropped into Nathan's Famous for a bite to eat. Then it was back to New Jersey to ride a very awesome backyard coaster, Shadowstalker. What a well done build. The track looked like it could be off any major wooden roller coaster. Unfortunately, it was short-lived. But the owner Sammy and his company Built a Thrill are working on a new project that will debut this year. The next day was the main event, Wildcat's Revenge at Hersheypark. RMC knocked it out of the park once again. The ride is such a perfect blend of positive, negative, and lateral G's. Our only complaint is that we didn't get to ride it more. We then hit up all the new credits since our last visit in 2008, along with some favorites. Let's start with Skyrush. Airtime Thrills was right. What a painful experience. Canobie was much better, even if it's one of the tamer B&M hypers we've been on. Storm Runner was even better than we remembered, with an intense launch and some really unique inversions. Laugh Track was nicely themed, fun, and a great fit for the park. Same with the Jolly Rancher remix theming. We finished the day with a couple rides on Lightning Racer, and instead of riding together, we rode in opposite trains, and it was super fun to race each other. This is honestly an underrated coaster. The next day we hit up 2 other parks from that trip in 2008. The first was Knoebels. Hard to believe, they added 4 new coasters since that visit. Cosmos Curves was a nice replacement for the aging high-speed thrill coaster. And there was Black Diamond, an indoor coaster relocated from Dinosaur Beach in New Jersey. Is that where US Senators went in the summer? Oh, and Flying Turns was finally open. It was completed in 2008, but it wouldn't open until 2013. Good lord. We were happy to get on it after all those years. It's a really fun ride that's unique and you're not going to get anywhere else. And Impulse, the only inverting coaster in the park. We also got a couple rides on Phoenix. It's certainly one of the better wooden coasters we've been on, but still a bit overrated. Hot take, Twister is better. The retracking of the helix sections made a huge difference over our previous visit. It was then off to Dorney Park to get on as much as we could before the park closed. Thankfully it was dead, so we managed to get on 5 of the 7 coasters. But nothing would be a new credit since they hadn't added anything since that trip in 2008. Thank God Iron Menace is coming this year. We're very much looking forward to that. Taladin was running great, it's a solid B&M invert. Hydra the Revenge is also a lot of fun with its unique layout that has that awesome JoJo roll out of the station. Not a coaster, but we had to get on Demon Drop. It's one of the few remaining first generation Intamin freefalls in the world, and the only left in the United States. The drop might be only 60 feet, but it's a little unsettling with how janky everything appears. Oh, and it has really good airtime. Thunderhawk was a bit rough and could use some love, but Steel Force surprised us. Smooth, fast, and some great airtime moments. It wasn't something we remembered from last time. We finished up the trip with a stop at Nickelodeon Universe at the American Dream Mall in New Jersey. Thankfully, everything was open. Nickelodeon Slime Streak is great for a family coaster. Fun fact, it was designed by Joe Draves, who also designed Wildcat's Revenge. Timmy's Half-Pipe Havoc was enjoyable. Those Intamin Surf Rider models are pretty cool. Shredder was fun until we hit the final brakes and the car wouldn't stop spinning. Sandy's Blasting Bronco looked promising with its turntable giving you forward and backwards rides, but it was a bit of a letdown. The highlight was TMNT Shellraiser. That rolling launch was way more punchy than expected. Honestly, one of the better launches that we've experienced. The Beyond vertical drop was also awesome. Now there's some slight rough sections here and there, but it didn't stop re-rides. The year wrapped up with Accelerator at Knott's Berry Farm finally reopening after being closed for nearly 2 years, and it was running great. So happy to see that it's back in action. Alright, that's gonna do it for ACN's 2023. Drop a comment down below and let us know the fun things that you did last year. Also, stay tuned for an upcoming video about all the 2024 coasters we are excited for. Until then, take care and thank you very much for watching. See ya.